Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Buck Theater. And I love it when you get some kind of subversive comedy, subversive trope films going on, which is why this particular story both intrigues me and makes me a little bit afraid. Now, you're looking at the screen going, what the fuck is Melissa McCarthy doing next to a Muppet? Well, truth is, it's a new movie. It's a new movie called The HAPPYTIME Murders. Yep, Melissa McCarthy is starring in the puppet thriller The HAPPYTIME Murders. Now, this, of course, is coming after the failure that is Ghostbusters 2016. So be curious to see what this whole thing's about. But it says here, if you've ever wanted a movie that marred the reality blending dark comedy of Who Killed Roger Rabbit with the classic Jim Henson Muppet production, you're in luck. Puppet noir The HAPPYTIME Murders is in the works with an incredible, capable comedy actress. Look, here's the thing. Melissa McCarthy is hit or miss to some people. I've been a Melissa McCarthy fan for quite some time. Even after Ghostbusters, I'm still a fan of hers, even though I do believe that during the promotion phase of the film, she pushed identity politics like crazy and was definitely assigning the blame of the haters to people who've never left their mother's basement or touched a vagina. And I don't feel that was correct. I don't feel that was right. I feel that there was valid criticism with Ghostbusters. Lord knows I gave a lot of it myself. But the point is, I still find her to be funny, but it's just got to be done in the right way. And she's hit or miss a lot of times. I prefer her on TV. Anyway, Melissa McCarthy will star in The HAPPYTIME Murders, a noir puppet comedy directed by Brian Henson. Okay, that's good. About a world in which humans and puppets warily coexist. McCarthy will play a human detective who is forced to work with an alcoholic, disgraced puppet detective to figure out who is brutally murdering the former puppet cast members of the HAPPYTIME Gang, a beloved children's show. And that's a cool concept. That is an extremely cool concept. You've got a world where humans and puppets coexist, and there's a murder, and it's a noir, and it just kind of takes the idea and tosses it on its ear, very similar to Rian Johnson's Brick, which took the idea of a film noir set in a high school with, high school kids speaking 1920s gangster dialogue. It was interesting, and it worked. McCarthy will star and produce The HAPPYTIME Murders alongside her husband, Ben Falcone. Henson is still attached to direct after reports that Jamie Foxx would star as a lead actor as recently as last year. The HAPPYTIME Murders has had a long and arduous journey to the big screen. The Jim Henson Company attempting to get the project off the ground since 2008. Wow, that's a long time. It wasn't until STX Entertainment, the studio behind the surprisingly candid coming-of-age movie Age of 17, picked it up in 2015, and that got the ball rolling again on the reportedly R-rated dark comedy. And then you can see here there is some of the concept art showing the dead stuffed bunny, the detective, and everything else. So, okay, here's my question. Since when is the Jim Henson Company when have they ever been into R-rated shit, right? That doesn't really seem like something the Jim Henson Company would be attached to, right? It just really doesn't. And I'm also wondering how much of the movie's arduous journey to get to this point was marred by the fact that the kind of adult-esque reboot of The Muppets only lasted one season because nobody liked it. And then additionally, I'm wondering, how is it that a movie like this that would have some kind of smaller budget would get Melissa McCarthy on board to be the lead? I mean, she still has clout in Hollywood. She's still kind of like the queen of movie comedy in terms of being an actress. So I'm wondering about how that's going to play out. But McCarthy confirmed to star and personally produce the film, saying, when a really good script combines puppet strippers, Los Angeles' underbelly, and comedy, it's like my fever dream has finally come true, which tells me that this is more of a vanity project for her. This is something that probably her and her husband are going to put together. I would say for probably a small budget, under $50 million. But it's definitely something that I think she wants to kind of like break away and do something smaller again to maybe get some of that street cred that's been lost with Ghostbusters tanking. Not only Ghostbusters tanking, but The Boss that came out last year also not doing well. And most of her movies, I think outside of the ones she's even done with Paul Feig, have not done as well, right? Because she did that one Tammy and The Boss that was both starred by her and directed by her husband, and those failed to really do well, even though like Tammy was given like July 4th opening weekend, back in 2014, which made like no fucking sense. Anyway, Todd Berger and Dee Robertson wrote the initial drafts of the screenplay, with the latest draft by Red 2 scripters Eric and John Hober. And here's the thing, though, is the 2012 version of the script is what I'm going to read off to you, but it's going to undergo significant changes with McCarthy overseeing future revisions. Now, okay. Here's what I'm worried about then. Before I go into this whole description, here's what I'm worried about. McCarthy is going to make it more about her, because she is going to be playing I would probably assume she's playing, the ex-partner of the puppet detective. And probably the other side of that, like the straight arrow, like the very by-the-book type detective. Think of The Heat, but just opposite. She's the Sandra Bullock character, but maybe more like hardcore and shit like this. And she's going to make it, or she might change that idea around where she's the loose cannon and he got blamed for it. I got no idea. They're going to make it more about her than the puppet, because she's the star. And even though she does okay in ensemble films, this is her vehicle, and this is going to be about her, which is unfortunate. Because I think that's going to really take away from the type of movie that this is. I mean, based just simply on this particular description, which goes, in a world where puppets coexist with humans as second-class citizens, puppet private eye and disgraced ex-cop Phil Phillips is hot on the trail of the serial killer who murdered his brother and is now targeting the cast members of the famous 80s television show, The Happy Time Gang. As the killings continue, Phil's former flame, Jenny, is next on the list, and it's up to Phil and his ex-partner, Detective Edwards, to find the culprit. But as bad blood and old resentments resurface, the clues start pointing to the only viable suspect, Phil himself. Now he's on the run with only his wits and hard-headed determination as he tries to solve the Happy Time murders. So, I'm calling it now, Detective Edwards is the killer. Detective Edwards is the killer. I'm calling it now. I'm just calling it now. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. If this doesn't get revised, it's going to have to be that. Because as all the evidence starts pointing towards Phil himself, if he's working with his partner can plant the evidence in order to continue killing members from the Happy Time Gang because of some fucking thing. Let's see, Melissa McCarthy, 1980, she would have been a teen. Maybe she tried out to be on the show. They mocked her. They laughed at her. Maybe they pulled a Carrie on her, and that's going to want her to get revenge on them, and that's probably what's going to lead to this whole situation unfolding the way that they're making out to be. Now, look, I'm spitballing here. I have literally no idea what's going to happen in this movie, but that's what I'm thinking they're going to go. That's the path I'm thinking they're going to go down. I'm thinking that's the path, and that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate because a story like this could be really cool, but you know how these kind of thrillers play out. It's always someone you least suspect, and it's usually someone that's in like the top billed cast. So Melissa McCarthy she's never played a bad guy before. She's never played that kind of character before. So the likelihood of her playing that type of person, yeah, it makes sense to me. It's unfortunate, but it makes sense to me. But the question is, what do you guys think? Do you think that this is the kind of story that's good for Melissa McCarthy? Do you think she should stay far the fuck away? Do you think that this concept on its own would be cool just as it is? Personally, I do. I want more shit with puppets, right? I do. Ever since, I saw Avenue Q back 10 years ago, I've wanted more shit with puppets, but puppets in an adult theme. And I'm very happy that Brian Henson's on board. I hope he still directs this. I hope Ben Falcone doesn't take over. But again, given how Melissa McCarthy and her husband are, I just have a feeling that's the way things are going to be, and that is quite unfortunate. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. You've been listening to 3 Buck Theater, and don't worry, guys, videos are going to stay here. Videos ain't going anywhere. This is your source for movie news and commentary on YouTube. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day, and peace out.